It's Tuesday, the 12th of March, 2024. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, we have 5 big stories to get through today in 5 minutes, so we better get cracking. Story number 1, some big hitters in the Australian business community have teed off at the US-based tech companies, calling for more scrutiny and potentially regulation of the global giants.
Commonwealth Bank's boss, Matt Comyn, said he found it extraordinary the lack of scrutiny the large tech companies come under. He said given Apple made revenue of $12 billion in Australia and paid tax of about $160 million, it had an effective tax rate of 4% compared to the 30% rate paid by the Commonwealth Bank. Comyn was speaking at the Financial Review Annual Business Summit. He reckons the tech giants are undisputed world champions of kabuki theatre. Essentially, plenty of show, not a lot of content. Former Federal Treasurer and outgoing chair of Nine Entertainment, Peter Costello, described Google and Meta as monopolies on a global scale that would make Rockefeller blush. Nine and other media companies are pushing for Meta to pay to use news content after the owner of Facebook said it would pull out of agreements soon to expire. And Macquarie Group CEO Shamara Wickramanayake said the US and rest of the world does need to allow competition to come in against the big tech players, though she kind of declined to back up Mr. Comyn's call for more regulation. She said for now it was better for Macquarie to work with them rather than against them. There's been so much scrutiny in Australia on the banks particularly, but also now the big supermarket change. There hasn't been that scrutiny on the tech companies. I reckon that the government's going to be under pressure to do something.
I reckon you might be right. It was a big summit yesterday with a bunch of business leaders appearing.
Yeah, look, just one other worth mentioning. Meg O'Neill, the boss of Woodside, she said commodity prices have stabilised, very important for Australia. She's actually a bit surprised by the lack of volatility flowing from the Middle East crisis at the moment. Basically says supply chains are much more resilient, Michael.
All right, moving on to story number 2 now, Sean, which is all about petrol prices because they are very, very high at the moment.
They sure are. According to Fuel Price Australia, E10 petrol is particularly expensive in Brisbane, with the average price being around $2.23 a litre. Sydney's close to $2 a litre, while Melbourne's just over $1.90 a litre. It's around $1.70 a litre in Adelaide and about $2.11 in Canberra. So there's more than a 50-cent gap between the most expensive and cheapest capital city. Don't quite understand why. If you look at some work done by the ACCC, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, it basically says the average petrol price in Brisbane, Canberra and Sydney is now at a record high. Just very expensive at the moment.
Yeah, certainly is. On to story number 3, and the share prices of BHP, Rio Tinto and Fortescue Metals Group have tumbled this year as the price of iron ore falls.
The big 3 miners have been among the worst performers of the large caps in 2024, largely because the price of a tonne of iron ore has gone from more than $144 to around 110. China's the reason, not just the weakness in the economy, but also on the back of reports that there's a massive build-up of ore at ports, in fact, the highest level in a year. Not helping was the annual National People's Congress in Beijing, finishing yesterday. It ended with no talk of major stimulus measures. Now, BHP, Rio Tinto and Fortescue's share prices are all down a massive 15% this year, including big drops yesterday. That's a heavy weight on the ASX 200. Over the past year, Fortescue Metals is actually up 15%, but the other two have gone backwards. The miners were a very big part of why the local share market tumbled so hard yesterday to finish down nearly 2%.
Story number 4 is a good news story out of the local market, showing the share price of software company Task jumped 90% yesterday after a US company offered to buy the group for $310 million. That's more than double Task's last closing price.
So much for the normal 30% premium. Task offers tech solutions for the hospitality sector, stuff like point of sale, apps, loyalty programs. Some of its customers include Guzman y Gomez, Starbucks, Michelle's, Donut King, Gloria Jeans, but the big one is the McDonald's app, which it facilitates in about 50 countries. The company was founded more than 20 years ago by the Howden family. It still owns about 36% of it. Big payday for them. Staff also own about 4% of the company, so big payday for them. Good on them.
Yes, indeed. Last one, Sean. Story number 5. The Oscars provided plenty of beautiful images yesterday, and congratulations, of course, to Oppenheimer for winning a whole bunch of awards. But the most controversial image yesterday was of an official photo, nothing to do with the Oscars. It was an official photo of the Princess of Wales with her 3 children following abdominal surgery over concerns that the image has been manipulated.
Yeah, so the image is of Princess Kate sitting down and surrounded by her children. It's apparently taken by the Prince of Wales, at least that's what we were told. It was released by Kensington Palace on Mother's Day in the UK. That was Sunday. But hours after the image was released, photo agencies, including Associated Press, AFP, Getty and Reuters, made the highly unusual step of issuing a kill notice to media organisations around the world, telling them to remove the image, and they also removed it from their own photo libraries. AP said the photo appeared to have been manipulated at the source. The source, I think, was the palace. Princess Kate has remained out of the public eye for more than 2 months after she underwent abdominal surgery on January 17. Not sure that yesterday's picture, which apparently had been doctored, is going to lessen any speculation about how she is.
Yeah, I think you might be right there. There we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Tuesday, the 12th of March, 2024. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed Business News wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on social media as well. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.